Hey garden friends, welcome to my rose cottage garden. This is Rose Alley through the arbors. The rest is more roses and other perennials. Now I want to share with you this visit here in the first week of July as compared to the first week of June when all the roses were just covering everything. I will link that video so you can go see the glory. But I also have beautiful perennials planted in here that put on a show when the roses are between blooms. I have some of the roses are still blooming, putting on blooms, and more will come into bloom this following week. And I'm going to take you through, give you a close-up look at what's going on. We're going to talk about what I'm going to change and why, and a few little maintenance tips for you. So come on along on this July Grand Rose Cottage Garden Tour, and I hope you enjoy. Hey, if you're new here, my name is Pam and I garden in the mountains of Northern California. And despite having some challenging conditions, like late freezes in spring, I still grow a beautiful garden, and I know you can too. So I hope you enjoy. As you will notice, this is my sunblaze rose. This is the apricot one. Let me see. I think it's called salmon something, sunblaze salmon. Yes, this is a beautiful one that does continue blooming through the summer with deadheading, and that's what I'm doing now. I'm just going in. I am not worrying about going to so many leaves or anything. That's not important here. You just want to get rid of the spent blooms, and you see there's already new growth coming up right here. This one's starting to fade away, and you leave the gorgeous ones. As I said, you do not have to go back to a certain amount of leaves, nothing. That is not important in here. That is mainly for hybrid teas, if you're going to show. There's no right or wrong rules. Look at this. This is a salvia from Proven Winners. I can't remember which one. I'll have to find the tag. But this one just does beautiful. At first I thought it was a Veronica, but it's not. This one is actually a salvia. Sometimes I get those confused. So, yes, beautiful. This will continue to bloom, and already you see there's new blooms out here. This feverfew sets it off just beautifully. Great companion with that plant, with that rose. See if I can get back in here without treading on anything. Now you notice this daisy. It has gotten massive. It is probably 5 feet across, 4 feet that way, and it's taking up a lot of space. But when I'm on the pathway, I really don't get to enjoy it, even though it's so large, because it is so tall. Now that happens here because of the way the sun goes behind the trees during parts of the day. So they're always reaching for the sun, getting really tall. And this is just a regular variety of Shasta daisy. In the center, it's not splaying out. So it's not that it needs dividing or anything like that. It's just that it's gotten so large for the space, too tall for me to enjoy along the path. And you have to think about those things. If it's like so tall that you don't even get to look at the flowers and their shape or whatever, you're just getting the side view, which for Canterbury bells, that's fine. But for daisies, you're missing the show. So this daisy is going to come out of here, and it will leave a large open spot for another rose, which this is the Rose Cottage Garden. Perfect. And I have plenty of daisies throughout the garden. And so digging this one up, I could dispose of it or I could give it away, or I could divide it and give several away, is perfectly fine with me. And then I can enjoy even more rose color here. Oh, getting back here, notice how my love song needs a bit of a prune. It's got some black stems. Not good. So I'll check that out later. But sometimes it's nice to get in, really get in with the plants, and then you can see something that you missed maybe from viewing from the pathways. So across the path, we're past the Eden Rose Arbor is another daisy. This daisy has the most beautiful shaped petals. I love it. It's not too tall when I'm walking by for me to enjoy the blooms, but I don't know if you can see this, but there's a big hole in the middle. It's splaying out, and that's a perennial that needs dividing. And this spot, it's taking up a huge amount of space. I would like to put another rose here. Now this is definitely one of the daisies I want to keep because this one alone has this specific petal pattern. I'll bring you up closer to look at it in a minute, and I just find it so interesting and beautiful. I love unusual plants and flowers. But this one will get moved to another spot somewhere in the garden, and I'll continue to enjoy it. Plus, I will divide it, so there'll be more than one, and I can give some away on that front there. So this is another one that's going to move. I'm going to get a rose to put here, something maybe I've had on my list, wish list. I'm not sure yet. I found some Japanese roses. The Japanese roses are absolutely gorgeous, and I'm going to try to incorporate some of those. So, and I'm sure they're pretty tough, but they are just very, to me, very different and beautiful, and I would love to collect some of those. I have several David Austins, and so now I found these others. I also do love arbor roses by Cortez and German roses, so there's a lot of beautiful ones out there. So just shop around if you're a fan of a certain particular variety of plant and find all the cultivars you can. It's like salvias, there's like 2,000 varieties, you know, so you'll find one that'll do well in your garden and that you'll absolutely love. I want you to look, this one is, this vine on, this is my Jubilee Celebration rose. Let me step in here a little bit without crushing anything. But this cane suddenly grew up very fast. It's a little bit different growing than the others. So I'm worried that this is a sucker. What I mean by sucker is it's maybe coming from the graft. Now I had bought Jubilee Celebration way back, I mean, probably 20 years ago from David Austin Roses. And at the time they were not offering own root. I prefer own root because of the chance of suckering from the base, and I won't know because I can't get down in there until it puts on a bloom, whether or not it's a sucker or the actual plant. So I'm just letting it grow, keeping an eye on it. But look, I told you that Jubilee Celebration is one David Austin rose that just blooms through the summer like crazy. And look at all these buds. I mean, there's like 4, 10, 15, 20. There's like 50 blooms right there. Now here, right now, and I did already deadhead a little bit earlier after the first flush of blooms, and there's another one that needed to be deadheaded, and I just took it off. And there's more buds back there. This thing is absolutely full. I'm gonna have to make sure I keep it supported because all that weight on these tender stems, it can make it flop down. And that's a feature, not a feature, a characteristic of many of the older David Austin roses is they flopped over. And so you needed something to support them or put them by a fence where they could flop onto the fence and be beautiful. Look at these. I've got poppies growing in here with this. I just threw these poppy seeds out here last winter. That's how I sow poppy seeds, and it does a fantastic job. So we'll wait and see on this to see if it's a sucker or not. If it is not, and that's truly growing like that, I'm going to put an obelisk here and then train it around that, and then I will enjoy it that way. So, yeah, let's take another look up here amongst this area, and I can show you or talk about what I'm thinking about there. I just wanted to show you my path again. This is my micro clover pathway. And instead of a lawn or grass, I seeded this in here, not last winter, but the winter before, and it's slowly filling in. Now there's a lot of spots that are still bare, and it will fill in, like right here. You know, this is bare, but this had a thick layer of mulch, and I've moved it. And then I'm getting these little holes here, which could be gophers. I'm not certain. But we've had a fox around, and he could be trying to dig for gophers and catch them. I was hoping he would stick around and gopher hunt for me. But if you notice, this Nepeta has been blooming for quite some time, and it's still going. It's starting to flop. That's because it's reaching for sun, because it gets more shade with the roses climbing the arbors and all of that. And I just will prune it back. Once it's not got the beautiful color, it still has beautiful color. Now let me show you just something. Let me see. Hopefully you can see this. I just wanted to share with you, like right here, these are fading out. So I could just grab the lot and prune them back. There's still plenty of others, and even the ones really flopping into the path, those can just be cut off. They still have pretty blooms on them, but there's still plenty more. So it's not a huge loss. I see a rose here that needs cutting back. And yeah, so this will reflush and rebloom again. So that is another way. Did I share that in my cutting back perennials yet? I need to finish that up for you. I have a video coming out, if it's not already out, on pruning back perennials in July and which ones I am doing and why. So one of them, Nepeta, because many of them, like my cat's pajamas, seems to bloom sooner than many of the other varieties. And so then it's bloomed out sooner. But I don't just go in and whack it all down unless I leave it all too late. Then I need to whack it all down to get a rebloom. But like I'll go in and just do little pieces here and there, sections, and then whack it back, and then that could fill back in. And then the others will be done when that has filled back in. And then I prune back the others. So you're never without some color. Now that works with salvias. It works with the coreopsis. It works with so many things to go in and just prune out what is going to seed, what's done, and there'll be other blooms that may be still blooming, and then that encourages a constant bloom. I got another little rose thing. I have been deadheading all along. That's what I do. When I come out here to enjoy my garden, I will just deadhead. I'm also deadheading the clematis here. Deadhead things and just relax. I am not a picture-perfect gardener. This is for me to enjoy. I enjoy plants, not a garden design. There'll be things that say, oh, do this or do that for certain aesthetics. And I am in it for the individual joy of plants. So I may have tall plants in front of short plants. I may have a conglomeration of colors. I have just a willy-nilly way of gardening that I find so much joy in. And if you can find joy in your garden, that's the secret to success. So here is one of my sterile hybrid echinaceas. This one is called Katie Saul. And this one will not propagate by seed. You have to divide it. Now I have a division of this one up in my artist garden. And just look at those colors. It reminds me of a tequila sunrise or a tropical drink of some kind. And this is the poppies that go into seed here that I shared with you. I can show it right here. See, this is the poppies that I seeded here. And that's what these seed pods are full of. Now, I don't know. Sometimes I can get a rebloom if I deadhead. Let me see with this one. I'll deadhead this pod because I've got tons coming up elsewhere. And we'll see if it will keep blooming. Now, poppies, many of them are a one and done bloom, but they are just so gorgeous, and the bees love them. Let me see if I can tilt you this way and show you. There's a bee right there on one. Oh, nope. He went away. Oh, no, he's in there. You can see the poppy jiggling from his activity in there. The bees absolutely love poppies. So if you want to have bees, plant poppies. Now from this side of the garden, you can't really see some of my roses that are out by the road, are on the side of the road. Let me see. Let me get around there so I can talk to you. So over here, I have roses. And to really get to enjoy them, because they haven't gotten tall yet, these can get 6 feet tall. These are Hyde Hall David Austin roses. And this one in front, that one was my nearly wild. But I have 3 planted along here, like a hedge, and yeah, they can get 6 feet. We'll see if they do here, because I have to prune back pretty hard in the winter or before winter hits, because of our heavy wet snows will break down my roses. So yeah, but I still enjoy them only because, not only, but because I can walk alongside the road all the way down my property line and enjoy them. I don't see them from the path side because they're beneath or behind many of the taller plants. But that's what you get with an island bed rather than just a long border, is I can walk all the way around this flower garden and I can see different plants from different angles and really enjoy it at my leisure. I don't have to see everything from one side. And you don't want to plant a garden that way unless it's like up against a fence and you can't walk around the other side. But this one is fully visually appealing from all sides. And as I said, I've got tall and short plants all amongst together in here. And many of these things in here are reseeded themselves, like this black-eyed Susan and the rose campion there. I put the lilies in here and all these other things. The peonies, I talked about that before in one of my garden tours. The peonies, I think I'm going to move. I've been keeping the back hillside clear this year. It usually gets weedy, and I think I'm going to move them there. And they will stand out and be beautiful in their own right and not have to compete with anything else. So here is from the roadside view of the Rose Alley here in early July. And look, this yarrow is just beautiful. I don't remember if this was the violet, vintage violet. I thought that one was shorter, but a lot of things will grow taller in my environment because of having to reach for the sun. And many of the daisies are starting to bloom. Now this daisy right here, I do love it, but I need to put another climbing rose in there, and it was just a volunteer, and I can pull it out. Look how tall that thing is, almost 5 feet tall. And that's so it's reaching for the sun. Not all of my daisies. You notice this one's much shorter. It's from the same packet of seeds that I got. Most of my daisies are crazy daisies, and you can buy the seeds. That's what they're called. And yeah, and here's another one. You see how the petals are all fluffy, and many of them. Yeah, that's a beautiful one. See, that one's just staying very sedate. That one will bulk up like next year, and I'll have to take it back or dig it out and divide it. You see how these ones have really gotten huge here? Big, massive. They've done that on their own. They increase each year in their size and bulk, and then I will dig them out, divide them, or just remove them completely and put some back and or whatever. Now I do try to keep them along the edges. As I stated before, the deer, some reason, will not go past daisies. If I cut them back, all of a sudden my roses will disappear and be eaten. If I leave the daisies up, the deer don't bother my other plants. So there's something there that they don't enjoy. That probably isn't true across the board everywhere, and I'm sure if they were hungry enough, they would. But so I got some dahlias put in down here. Even the one that I shared with you where the bear stepped on one and crushed it. Let me get in here without tripping again. That one right there, and it snapped it off. And it grew back from the tuber beneath with plenty of rain. Now I plant them in their buckets or cans, pots, whatever you want to call them, because the gophers would eat them if I did not. So look at this. Here is my beautiful rose campion, but this one's called oculata, which it is a white and pink one. And I think it's beautiful in here. This is Cerise Queen Yarrow, and it's also beautiful. Down here's my Quick Fire Fab hot paniculata hydrangea. Let's see how it's going to do. It's been here 2 years. It's slowly filling in, and there it's going to bloom. So we'll see. It might not have been the best spot for it. It might get a little bit crowded out by these daisies. That's one reason I would move these this fall or even sooner. I could cut back this section here so that the hydrangea could get more sun. And that's just part of my maintenance. I still have got to prune up this. This is my snowball viburnum that got smushed by the bear, and I just propped it up quickly. I haven't spent any time on it. And I have no idea why this branch of my pear tree broke down, but it did. I'm gonna get in here. I've been gone for several days, and then because I had my car broken into and a lot of things stolen out of it, I've been working on replacing things. Now look at this color. Isn't this color beautiful of this yarrow? So it's like a peachy. I did plant a peachy mix, and I'm not sure if that's one of them or not. And that daisy is also another volunteer. So more volunteer flowers. I'm starting to plant up this area. You notice a rose here. And I am starting, this is where my lilacs are. I'm starting to get things in here planted. This was all just rather wild. And yeah, I'll show you. Here is damage from the gophers. They love hollyhocks, and look at that one. Let me see if I can pull it up for you and hold the camera at the same time. Usually they just eat the roots right off. Yep. Roots are gone. Let me hold this up so you can see it. That's a big old root mass, but they just ate it. And so I know I have gopher trouble over here, and anything else I plant in here, I will make sure that I know is gopher sensitive or that they love, and then I will protect it. And there's another one they've eaten. These were volunteers. I'd be really upset if these were things I specifically planted here. And yeah. But I do know they love hollyhocks for some reason. So any specialty hollyhocks that I plant, like the doubles, I have the Peaches and Dreams, and they seem to love that one and go for it first, then I will plant in a container in the ground. Now it's kind of hard because hollyhocks, to support their height and the weight and all of that, they do put down a deep tap root, and they have to find one of the holes of the pot to send that taproot down. They do it. I'll show you one. See, that's the base of, this is one of my Peaches and Dreams hollyhock. So yeah, it's planted there in a pot so the gophers cannot get it. Now I want to show you my Hyde Hall roses. Aren't these beautiful? I need to support that one a little bit. Now, I did put gypsum in this garden bed. Gypsum helps with stem strength of your flowers, and it may be something I need to put more of. My soil has high magnesium. I do not add any magnesium like CalMag or anything like that. You should always test your soil before you add anything additional like that, because the high magnesium prevents calcium from being taken up by the plants. When you don't have the proper balance, then that's what happens. One will inhibit the other from being absorbed by the plants. So, yeah, you'll often see people suggesting adding Epsom salts. If you don't need it, you could be doing more harm than good. Or another product like CalMag, that's another thing. The cal is calcium, but if you already have high magnesium, it doesn't matter if you add calcium, the plants can't absorb it. Gypsum, it's put down in the winter, helps with the calcium absorption if you have high magnesium and all of that. I do not add bone meal. If you have struggles with critters, squirrels, and other animals like that, you do not want to add anything to your soil that has bone meal. That is an open invitation for animals. Gophers, it attracts gophers, ground squirrels, dogs, cats, all of the above, and they will wreak havoc to try to get to it by digging up your plants and or eating them. Squirrels too, if I didn't mention squirrels. Look at this. This is my bushy boy Veronica. I just love that color with a phlox. That's a Proven Winners variety phlox. I do like the Proven Winners phlox, garden phlox, because they do bloom earlier than my other phlox. And with judicious deadheading, they come back. I mean, they bloom more, not just come back. So, yeah, my apple blossom rose down there doing its thing, what I wanted. I wanted it to put it. Look at this. It's a whole huge bouquet of roses. That is a native phlox. That is like a lavender color. when it's blooming. It's a later blooming variety because it's native, and most of the garden phlox that are not hybrids like the garden proven winners type, then they are a later blooming flower in the garden. This one is my Limelight Prime. I have been told that it has superior, performance over the regular Limelight. I can't say for me that has held true, and I've had other viewers say that the blossoms were disappointing, the flowers compared. I don't know. We'll see. You know, in every garden, different things will perform differently. So even though you can watch other big garden YouTubers and everything does beautiful for them, doesn't mean it will for you. It's always a trial and error because your conditions will differ. I love this little salvia, this fuchsia one. I have more of it in the back, and I've got to get in here and cut it back so it can, their new blooms can shine and be beautiful. I should get my camera out here and finish. I've got a video going of pruning back perennials. Look at this, clematis. Isn't that gorgeous? I have another one on this side, Jackmanii, that bloomed earlier, and it looks like I'm gonna get another bloom up high. So I didn't know if Jackmanii would rebloom. Some clematis are earlier blooming, and then I cut them back, and then they rebloom in the fall. And others will continue to bloom through the summer. So when you look up a particular variety, check out its tendencies, how it will perform. Oh, there's my pretty in pink. Not pretty in pink, I'm sorry. My pink, Joanne's pink perpetual. I love that color, and it's doing gorgeous. The verbascum here, I don't remember planting this here, but it came up, and I love it. This is wedding candles, and it's kind of obscuring that rose, so I may have to cut back the back stalks and leave these ones up here to enjoy. But though the verbascums, I have the Southern Charm, and I have a violet one I can't remember the name of. Bee magnets. They absolutely, the pollinators love them, and there proves me true, right there. Okay, here's the daisy earlier I was saying that is, I'll show you the center. You see how the centers, this is a sign that this needs to be divided, taken, dug out, divided. If I want another one here, replant. If I did replant this, I would put it back. I would put it back there with the tiny monster hardy geranium, because you see how tall it is? Then it could put on its show back there. I could make sure and prop it up so it didn't lean to catch the sun, and enjoy the daisy, but not have it obscure this area. And I've got a rose I want to put here. So all is good. My pretty in pink Eden, I need to get in there and deadhead it. That's those flowers. It is growing with Zephyrine Druin. Now Zephyrine has a huge, big June bloom, and then it just sporadically blooms through the rest of the summer. I don't get a ton of blooms, and that is why I put the pretty in pink in here with it, because it will continue to bloom, I've been told, through the summer, and it will provide the flowers I want on this trellis. So, yeah, I'm trying to figure out which ones are which. I'll get in here and cut back many of these Zephyrine canes that are done. I'm sorry, every time I point it, I'm right there, and that way. I guess I should add that to my perennial prune video when I'm chopping them back. Look at that. That is one cane, and it has all those blooms on it. That's my Crown Princess Margareta. Isn't that gorgeous? So that was a fresh cane that came from the base. And yeah, I just let it go there because there was nothing back there. You notice there's things, I need to put something back here. I probably could add some more climbing roses and put another trellis or an obelisk here and have it go up there, because it seems like the roses do well in this section. And yeah, so this foxglove I'm letting go to seed because it was a creamy color. It wasn't true white, it wasn't pink, it was just a very interesting, different, unique color. So yeah, I did show you it here walking along. This is my Jubilee celebration. Look at all those buds. Amazing. This thing, well, just in a few days, it's going to start opening up and have the most beautiful flowers. there is my echinacea, my Katie Saul. This section here, this is volunteer. A lot of these irises need to be divided, and I thought, perfect section for another rose. I have one on order that's a lavender color, and then there's another one I want to get that's a really purple. So I want to get those, and they'll go beautifully with. This is my Gertrude Chico. This is a pretty pink. I just deadheaded it. There's no blooms on it coming up here, but this one is my Quicksilver, which is a beautiful lavender. They're kind of put in silhouette with the sun, but yeah, just beautiful. Maybe I should come out here when it's sunny and you can really see it. But on this side, did I show you on the, oh, the microcosmias are getting huge. Those just spread like crazy, so I could take some out. This is the daisy that I'm going to take out and put another rose, but you see it's coming from down there. And oh yeah, the clematis. This is my Princess Kate. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? I'm just loving that. I love the ones, this is a Viticella type clematis, and I love the ones that you need to get up close to enjoy. I enjoy the big, blousy, beautiful flowering ones like my Pearl de Jour on the front arbor, but I also love the little delicate ones that, yeah, you need to get up and close and personal. I love the Golden Feverfew. I love the chartreuse color. The flowers, they're okay, but I grow it for the foliage, really. And I chopped this one back in my video of chopping back perennials, and I will dig that up and move it. I may move it to the other side of the path. There's the fairy rose down in there. So I need to kind of prune back some more of the feverfew because it's blocking the sun for those roses. And yeah, so that's just one thing. And I told you about removing this one. I should bring you along when I do it. I probably will. It's hard for you to see because I've got to get in the middle of this flower bed. Also, this Eden, sorry for my shadow, is a monster. It wasn't supposed to be plain Eden, but it is. And so I'm going to move it. I'm going to take it out of here, cut it back delicately because I don't want to disturb my Charlie Brown clematis. And yeah, so the roses down here. This is Safari. Maybe I'll wait. I'll wait till Safari opens. Oh, some more of the Mystic Spire Salvia. I had put this in here last year and it's done great. This is a dwarf yarrow, which I love the shorter stature of these yarrows. I have one here and then I put one over there. So yeah, look at my Queen of Sweden. I love Queen of Sweden because it stays upright. It doesn't flop like many David Austin roses. But this one's getting so tall, I have a difficult time enjoying the blooms. This is above, my eye visual. But that's all right. And my Grandpa Newt rose, I'm going to take you up and show you how it comes through the rail. And so here is my Grandpa Newt rose coming through the porch stair rail. So this is where I go down. I gotta cut those. This is a thornless blackberry coming through. But yeah, I just love how this comes through and I can enjoy them up close and personal each time I go up and down these stairs. And over here is the Warsaw Nike that's on that size clematis, where it's come through the rail here. And I need to deadhead all of these. If I deadhead it, it continues to bloom. I get to enjoy. Oh, and this is my Anna's Promise. Look at this. Isn't that beautiful? First bloom from her here. And this is my Florentina. It is a red climber, arbor rose. I need to get some support here. And maybe, I don't know if I'll put it on I could put it on an obelisk. So we'll decide. But yeah. I just couldn't help but sharing with you the Rose Cottage Garden And 1 month after the Grand Garden tour, now up there you see the Eden rose, even though they're faded and they need deadheading, they're still beautiful. That's one thing I love about the Eden rose. And Albertine, it's a one-time bloomer on this, so yeah, that's why I wanted another summer blooming rose here. I will put a different one other than Eden on this arbor. All right, my friends. Oh, I wanted to share something with you. I had dug up or needed the containers that all of these red geraniums were in, and I just stuck them in this big barrel here, and they love it. This is a part sun, part shade. I did have the other containers are here too, all of the same color, and they just seem to be doing beautifully here. I think they're going to be a great statement there that nothing in that barrel was growing. In fact, I had suckers coming from the pear tree, and I got rid of those and just plopped them all in there, and it works. It works, it works. So, yes, the bee balm. Did I miss the bee balm? I sure did. So look at the bee balm starting. I love that red. I have the purple bee balm in the Secret Cottage garden. This is the back side of that daisy. Now from here I can enjoy it, but when I'm going up the path, I can't. It's just way too big. I could cut it back and have just a smaller portion in there and still put a rose, but definitely want to do something differently. All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video of the Rose Cottage Garden Rose Alley tour. And I wanted you to know this is a narrow side yard comparatively. It is 15 feet wide, and all of that is packed in a space. Let me see, it's probably 20 feet long. So what you can do in a small space is just tremendous. And I wanted to make sure, because sometimes on video it's hard to get a perspective of how small or how big something actually is. I even had someone ask me how much acreage I had one time, a viewer, and I said, I don't. I have a suburban lot with my house in the middle of it. So that's what I have, and that's what a lot of others have. Now the lot size may be a little bit bigger, or my house is a little bit smaller than what other people have on their property, so they may have less space, but it is a average lot in a neighborhood. So I'll see you in my next video.